Hello. I'm Dana. This channel is called Added Beauty. But today I want to talk to you about my day, which was not very beautiful. So I'm going to do something a little bit vulnerable and just tell you about it. I had pretty much a very rough day and one of my hardest at work in a long time. Being falsely accused of some things. And I think it's a situation where a person knows that they may be on thin ice. And maybe if it's a choice of them having the heat or me having the heat, they're trying to, do one of those like, look over there, squirrel. It's them, it's not me, it's them. And as a result, I have to go through the process of trying to basically prove, that things are not my fault, that just defending myself. I spent the whole day defending myself. It feels like I've spent the whole week defending myself, actually. And, in this case, today was a long conversation with an HR representative, which is usually not a good sign. But she seemed to be fair, listen. You have no idea what the outcome will be, but I do have receipts for all of the things that I discussed. And, if I have to use my receipts to prove that I'm being accurate and telling the truth, I will. But, it's just one of those things that you just don't want to have to go through, right? Like, you just want to come to work and mind your business, do your work, try to be good to people, do some work that you can feel proud of, and do it with integrity. And, when you know that you are actively doing that and working very hard, and in fact, doing more than one person's job, and in this case, more than two people's job, and some days 3 or 4 people's job, legitimately, to then have, people say you're not doing enough is very hurtful. And, you're not doing enough, you're not doing well enough, whatever the case may be. It is very hurtful. And I'm tired, like soul tired, bone tired. My mind is tired, my body is tired, like sitting there hearing, what the concerns were, and or having to defend myself. I felt like my body was vibrating. Like, I don't even want to know what my blood pressure was or my blood sugar was. And then I was mad at that because, the job shouldn't cause you physical distress and, actual health problems. Just trying to do the right thing and in some cases hold people accountable to doing the right thing and to patient safety and all of those things. And so I thought about not making this video today, but I made a commitment to myself and I said it out loud to you, so I would stick to that commitment, that I wanted to do one video every day during Lent to get back on track with my original plan, which was to try to do 100 videos in 100 days. Yeah, I know I talk about radical relaxation here, and this is the reason why, right? when you have days that are anything close to this, you have to find ways to reduce the cortisol in your body, right? You have to find ways to relax and unwind and, you know, not that have that stroke that they're trying to make you have. And, you know, try to center yourself. So I tried to eat well. I had a nice salad and some soup as a late lunch. And I actually really didn't have dinner tonight. Imagine that, I wasn't that hungry. You know, I'm trying to drink my water. Maybe I'll have like a cup of chamomile tea or something like that before I try to go to sleep. And it's already late tonight, but I still need to kind of wind down some. I'm gonna spend some time praying and meditating on the word for sure. And one of the things that I've done so far this evening to try to bring it down and relax a little bit was, you know, to write down some of my thoughts, right? Because when you're being questioned about things, sometimes you can remember certain things, but maybe later on you remember some additional details that are relevant. And or sometimes it's just good to journal to get whatever it is on your mind out, in the hopes that that helps you to breathe. I called my best friend since the 7th grade. And as usual, she's ride or die. And I love that for me. You know, she's like, you need something? I got you. What you need? You know, it's one of those things that's a bright spot in a not so bright time, to know that I really do have people in my corner who see me and who love me and who would do, you know, just about anything for me. That's a blessing right there. Your friend says, look, you need some money, you want to move, what you want to do? Do you need an attorney? I'll pay for your retainer. That's a friend, you know, and that's a blessing. So thank you, friend. But also, you know, it's amazing because I tried to rest a little bit, and you know, your mind goes different places, right? I support a lot of people, and you know, I had some tears earlier today just because frustration and just sadness, like, why you want to do me like that when I haven't done anything to you, right? You know, I think we've all been there at some point. And you know, why do you want to mess with someone's livelihood? I know there's a lot of Black women across the country in this past year who have experienced the loss of their job for one reason or another. It's significant because the number of Black women that have been in that situation is so significant. Very highly educated professionals with deep resumes, all the things, right? Know how to be professional, all of that. These aren't people that were flipping burgers. There's nothing wrong with that. That's honest work for honest pay, but you know what I'm saying. These are people with, you know, marketable professional skills that are hitting snags for various reasons while they're just going about their lives. And that's sad too. So, you know, I had to think about a lot of these things and kind of put stuff in perspective. But one of the things that really put things in perspective, even though this is bad and it's really, really bad, it's very sad. I know I'm going to land on my feet either way, so I'll be all right. That's not the issue. The issue is, you know, going through the process and being put through all of this unnecessarily. But at all times, I'm still grateful because I know my worth. I know my family loves me. I know my friends love me. And I know that I can get another job and I'll probably end up finding one that pays more money. You know, I think that as bad as you might be feeling for a particular day or a particular moment, you always have to remember that although some people may have it better or easier, there's always a bunch of people who would kill to be in your shoes, or, you know, who might just be having a worse day than you are. In a given day, I mean, today I talked down a few folks that were melting down with each other and worked through any number of other additional challenges that take time. And I had one of my employees disclose that they lost a relative to violence, and, you know, through no fault of that person's own, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time within the last few days. And that's horrible. And like, as bad as it is to be going through what I'm going through, I came home and my son is here. I talked to my daughter on the phone. I talked to my best friend on the phone. Some folks have sent me some nice text messages. And I actually do have some really cool colleagues who have shown me support because they can see from the sidelines what's happening, and they don't like it either. Which, you know, I wouldn't ask them to get into the melee because I don't want them to catch any strays. But it is nice to know that some people do see me, do see the work that I do see my heart, my intentions, my values, all of that. And in that way, that's vindicating no matter whatever else happens. I've had people offer to write me glowing letters of recommendation, and they have. And, you know, that says something too, right? Because if people thought you were horrible, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't put the name on it. And I had to laugh because I think God really has a sense of humor. And he also has his ways, right? Sometimes the ways you're like, man, does it have to be this way? Does it have to be the hard way? You know, I try to learn my lessons the first time as much as I can. And, you know, that we know that we're not promised that things are going to be smooth. And we know that when you're trying to live a certain way, that enemy's going to come for you. Simple as that. And you have to remember that sometimes things that are happening where someone meant it for evil for you, that God will use it for good. And I know I've talked in some of my other videos about the fact that I was already looking for a job before any of this happened. This wasn't like, this isn't the reason why. I felt it, that it was time to go. And I was trying to talk myself out of it. I was like, well, you know, maybe I can stay longer and wait for this or work through this. And, you know, someone called me and said, oh, there's going to be certain changes that happen at your place of business, and maybe you should stay because it could be, you know, positive changes if you're there when it happens. And so, you know, I was trying to convince myself that maybe it was, you know, not time to go. And I could work through stuff. But then, this turn happened, and it's like, no, it's time to go. And not only that, but while I was having these meetings and conversations back and forth today, I got not one, in between, I got not one, but two calls, or emails to say that two companies that I had been recruited for wanted to talk to me, wanted to interview me. And not only that, but they both wanted to interview me tomorrow. So it's like catching hell today, wondering why in the world. And I was also just about to, and that may still depends on how it goes, but I was thinking about, signing the lease for the new place that we found that's local here that we really like. But something was kind of nagging at me like, is it? Is this the place? Are you sure? Like, you like it? It's close, it's convenient, it's larger, it's a lot of things. It's really pretty. And something wasn't 100% settled in my spirit. I wasn't sure what it was, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to stay in this place, but is that the right place that I'm supposed to go to? And both of these job opportunities that came up that may or may not result in an offer are in other areas that would require me to move out of this area. So I probably don't need to sign that lease just yet until I know how it's going to turn out. But I had to laugh because it's like, when you pray for clarity or when you pray for discernment, you better be ready for the answer. When you ask for God to make it plain, you better be ready for the answer. And it could not be any plainer that it's time to go. And so now I'm waiting for the rest of the message about where I'm supposed to land. But God made sure to let me know that He's got me. Whew. And I can only be grateful for that. I think I can only find the beauty in that. So, what I want to say is, it's okay to have days when you're not okay. And it's okay to express that emotion. Try not to get stuck in it. But you don't want to hold it all in. It becomes illness. It becomes poison. It becomes toxic. It can become cancer. It can become high blood pressure. It can become so many things. And so you need to prioritize yourself. I'm working on that too. Self-care, balance, breathing, relaxing, remembering who you are, remembering whose you are, remembering that God's got you. And you don't have to solve it. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to listen. So, wish me luck. I have 2 interviews tomorrow. And I will go back to putting in at least 1 application a day. And I know that the opportunity that I'm supposed to have that will benefit me and my family and allow me to support us will come forward. And I know that this is happening at this time in this way to remove any doubt that it's time for me to move forward. It's time for me to go for the things that I know I've been working on, including my startup, especially my startup, actually, because I'm meant for bigger and better. And if that resonates with you, I encourage you to go after it. Get after it. Get after it. The time goes by whether you do it or don't do it. And you can't get the time back. And is it worth being in a toxic situation to continue to try to make the best of it? Like, you're not gonna save the world that way. You know, take the wins for the good things that you did, feel good about leaving it better than you found it. I know when I leave, on whatever term it is, I will absolutely be leaving it better than I found it. And I can feel good about that. And I can feel great about stepping into the next better thing for me. And on that note, I'm going to take a couple more deep breaths, and I am going to work on winding down tonight and being able to hopefully have some peaceful sleep. I got one more day for this week to get through, and then a couple more days to try to reset, refocus. I'm still working on my focus, follow up, and finish for some of my own personal projects. And I'm still working on school. That's coming along well. So far, all A's. And this week was kind of a bye week at school, which is great because all hell is breaking loose everywhere else. So at least I'm not getting behind on that. And that's kind of another shout out to God, because you knew. So yeah. Yet and still, I have nothing to complain about. And y'all ain't gonna break me. Whoever it is that's trying, you ain't gonna break me. Have a good night. Let's do it. Okay. Whew. Maybe while you're saying a prayer and breathing and saying a prayer. Yes and amen. Thank you. All right. Add some beauty to your life. Get some radical relaxation and rest. Like and subscribe if you'd like. Hopefully tell a friend. This is a place where you can come and be real and let's talk about it. Share your own experiences if you want to. And hopefully you'll get a more upbeat me tomorrow. But either way, I'll see you tomorrow.